welcome to the first episode of Under the Big Top. I'm Rich, or Grok Dubs, as most people know me.
I'm Abigail. I also go by Supernova on TikTok and other apps. You can find me there. And welcome.
On this episode, we were going to be speaking on the Nickelodeon controversies that's been going around, and we will be putting our own 2 cents in it. But from what I picked up about all this and controversy and stuff with the Nickelodeon and Dan Schneider, basically, I don't believe Dan Schneider with his apology.
He's trying to save this for sure.
Yeah, he's trying way too hard to be.
It was a PR thing, really.
Yeah, well, like most, he did that crap-ass YouTuber apology thing that every YouTubers do. I never I got a bad vibe from him from when I was younger. I could just sense it. He was very very scummy from just the vibe I got from him. Seeing, as I have the page pulled up right now, coming from People magazine about Kenan Thompson of Kenan and Kel fame, talking about how it was tough to watch and all this stuff. I more sided on Kenan because as I was watching it, my own personal traumas were coming back from my past too.
It was hard to watch. And what gets me is his apology was like, oh, well, I wouldn't do what I did then now, but that doesn't erase what he did. And also there's the weird tweets about him asking to see children's feet and like the Nickelodeon logo being a foot. And then those weird, like, candid videos of people behind the scenes, like the Cherry Trainer stuff, like him inserting himself to, like, protect the iCarly cast from how creepy Dan was being.
Yeah.
Just the vibe, it's so off.
Mm-hmm. And then
I have a feeling stuff is going to come out, and, like, nobody's going to be surprised when it does.
Yeah.
That's just thoughts.
That was going to happen either way.
I've been following the Dan Schneider stuff for a long time. And I know all the conspiracy theories, and it's just, it comes from a place of reality,
I just, like, from my experiences within the industry myself, I've been groomed a couple times by a couple local people. So I'm like, of course, I could see how Dan Schneider kind of could be like that, because I've had people in the industry, like when I was first starting out as a music producer and DJ, I got a radio interview like in like 2014, 2015, that was from a dude who was trying to groom me. Me and him actually made a track together a long time ago. I don't want to bring up his name, but to the people who listen to this and watch this on YouTube, you will probably know who I'm talking about. At the time, I was like 14, 15. I'm an advocate on helping people in the industry keep from getting groomed. But yeah.
I mean, you see those people, they have these positions of power and they'll use and abuse them because they know they can. Take Corey Feldman's experience. He's been talking about Brian Peck for years in his documentary and has been an open advocate for children and those people in general in those positions of powers being abused. And to see Drake Bell and all those other children who were not necessarily treated like Drake Bell was, but, them coming forward and sharing their story is very empowering. Unfortunately, like with Matthew Underwood's situation, it's hard to tell if he did that because he was empowered or because he was getting these threats online, basically saying, shame on you for staying quiet. Now, it makes like a nuanced conversation in the sense that like when is pressuring someone and inspiring someone, like what's the line there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I've been open about my past to a lot of people and, like, what happened to me. Like, you shouldn't be scared to tell anyone, even if you get blacklisted.
I mean, just look at Brendan Fraser, what he went through and how far he's come and where he is now, and everyone loves him. And, you can have these dark experiences, but you don't have to let them define you. And it is inspiring. You just gotta make sure that people like Matthew Underwood don't have that sense of pressure. To come forward and tell your story on your own time is important, I feel.
Yeah. And I understand that because like all of just whatever happens in this industry is always going to be dark, like especially with the Epstein stuff too.
And then you take like Judy Garland or Shirley Temple, those stories when they start out so young and they kind of lose their childhood in the sense that like they just become part of a machine, and they pump out wonderful content. But I think for a lot of us consuming that documentary, it was hard to come to terms with the fact that these people that made our childhoods were sacrificing their in order for us to have ours, which is like, it comes with a level of guilt almost, like we're watching those shows because they were comfort for us. But now, the people that were making them, they weren't comfortable. And so a lot of us live in a nostalgic state,
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, with us being in that mindset, it's like, is it okay to do this? Like there's a lot of permission that we have to give ourselves in order to find those, comforts and to be comfortable, comforting ourselves with them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a new issue that I think has kind of arisen since this documentary came out with people's, I guess, perception on it and how they, with their childhoods cope with it, being the viewer.
I went through and rewatched because I'm looking at one of our other articles in our sheets about Ned's Declassified and their apologies. I'm like, yeah, that's... Yeah, I don't even really need to pull it up because I've already kind of memorized it. But that was kind of dark. But to be honest, I have no place to say because I would have made a joke about it if I was in their position too.
I feel like that was just so... Because, like, it took a lot for him to come out. Now, granted, he's got his own allegations. But, like, he's still a victim in his own sense. And I don't know. I feel like making fun of that's kind of... But then you also look at shows like The Boondocks and that episode with the R. Kelly stuff. So, like, I guess it's not as normalized to make those kind of jokes. But I don't know. That just felt a touch overboard for me personally.
Most comics, like Cat Williams coming out about all this shit with the other people like Steve Harvey and everything. Yeah. Steve Harvey kind of seems scummy in the first place. So I'm kind of on Cat Williams' side of that.
Something about the he looks like he's wearing false teeth, and then I don't know. I'm not trying to bully anybody's appearance, obviously, but like he just looks like he'd sell you a car, like a snake oil salesman. He'd feed you like shit and call it pudding,
He feeds you his false personality on Family Feud.
I will say he does do the faces really well, the facial humor.
Yeah. His reactions when people say weird shit on Family Feud is funny. But like that's it. He's not a comic anymore. He's just a game show host, which most people will know him by. So on being that we covered like all the Nickelodeon allegations for this week, you're in the industry and you know about the Scunto shit that happened back in 2022. He was going cuckoo. He was very mean, and I'm surprised I didn't get an apology from him for how he was towards me, because I was a fan of him for the longest. And like me not hearing anything from him, and then him getting picked up by one of the newer talent agencies, Prism Talent Agency, kind of disheartening, because I would have liked, being that I've talked to him on a personal level while he was all cracked out and stuff, and maybe a fucking apology. But not hearing anything from him just like not saying anything to me or my friend at that time, it's very disheartening. So I still do not support Scunto. I'm an open person. I'm a person you can literally talk to, and I'm usually very forgiving. I would have forgave him for the shit he said to me and all that back at that time, but I not hearing it from his own mouth very disheartening.
I had a similar situation. So when Marilyn Manson had his situation happen, all these women that come forward, it really sucked for a lot of alternative people, myself, obviously. I was friends with a band member for the band YAF, and he'd been doing these streams, and we stayed up all night, like, listing off cartoon characters and doing a tier list. You know, like, we'd been connecting, staying up till like 5 o'clock in the morning with other viewers, of course, but there was a connection there. Then we messaged privately on Instagram, and it was really nice. And then one of the girls from the Marilyn Manson allegations recanted. And I realized a lot of people will take back statements if they're put in a position of fear or they are financially paid off. And that's usually where my mind goes when people recant those types of situations. Or maybe they might not be able to legally afford to keep it up, whatever. So when that came out, his first reaction was that they were all the victims were Amber Heard wannabes. And that made me sick to my stomach. Because, you know, I'm a person that always is going to side with the victim first. Because I would rather be wrong siding with the victim than be wrong siding with the perpetrator. Personally, you know?
Honestly, Johnny Depp's more like in the popular sphere of everything. He's more of a treasure than Amber Heard is in the industry, so... Oh
yeah, I'm Team Johnny Depp all the way. But to call another case Amber Heard wannabes...
Yeah, no,
I'm not saying I'm Team Johnny, but like...
I'm Team Johnny too. Like, I would never say that about victims being Amber Heard wannabes. I would hear the victim story out before I even said anything, and if anything, I would more try to relate to it, like I've been with most of these articles. Like,
that's how I saw it. It was like, you're not even listening to them. You're just like so up Marilyn Manson's butt that you don't want to listen to people who might be affected by him. It was.
Yeah, the vines were, is this gluten-free? Gluten. Yeah, here, I'll pull it up so people can understand who I'm talking about. This dude was so funny to me.
You know who I haven't heard anything about in the alternative scene in a while? It's Damien Fizzy.
Oh, yeah, I remember D. Fizzy.
Yeah, what happened to him?
I don't know, but I still have a shirt from him. Messy hair, don't care.
Yes.
It's signed because my sister gave it to me. It's a signed shirt. Yeah, she met D Fizzy, and I still have the shirt today. So, hey, Damien, if you end up coming upon this, because it's going to be under the emo category, email us at underthebigtoppodcast@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you. Because I would love to have, we would love to have anyone from the alternative Vine YouTube scene to come on. Maybe not Shane Dawson. I don't want to have Shane Dawson come on, because then that would...
What they would have to say in terms of bringing in publicity and hate watch from a business standpoint, but also we would get hate because we platform somebody like that. So.
Yeah, no, really I don't want to platform. I don't want to platform that.
Would you interview Drake Bell given a chance? That's a good question.
I would interview both Josh Peck and Drake Bell if given a chance.
At the same time or separately, or like maybe 3 episodes with all 3 of them?
It would be separately, but I would love to hear both sides and maybe get both sides, because, yeah.
My favorite part about this job so far is searching all the stuff, because like, not just that, but obviously talking about it, you know, all the controversies. It's really nice to sit down and get different takes and like kind of break it down. Speaking
on our Lizzo allegations now, her former dancers, I've actually knew about how she treated people long before all this shit came out, because of my mentor's personal experiences with Lizzo. He is Scotty Harold, of Rock the Cause Records. He's the founder of it. He told me about an experience he had with Lizzo and how rude she was to him. And he was trying to be nice to her and everything. And like, she was just nothing but a complete bitch to him. So all these allegations that have came out about her towards her former dancers and her exit from the music industry, I'm honestly, this is the one time I'm not on the fence about anything.
As a plus size individual, it's very hard to hear that she, was like that. We don't have a lot of representation. And it hurts to have an idol really let you down when you have that limited amount of representation in general. Everyone always references McCarthy, again, shoved in our faces all the time. And then, you have Lizzo and who else?
Meghan Trainor.
Meghan Trainor isn't even plus size anymore. Adele isn't anymore. I mean, they're sort of, but like not really, It's like, oh, plus size, but in reality, it's just they have bigger assets.
Yeah.
And like a small waist. And so seeing someone, and what I really do like about Lizzo is her online store starts at plus size and then goes down to like smaller sizes. And like, I like that, but I don't like that in order to buy something, you have to subscribe to a monthly thing. Like, I can't just be like, oh, I want this bra, let me get this bra. No, I have to, in the subscription, which is kind of ridiculous. But I don't know if it's like that now. But, like, it's nice to have someone that, like, caters to the body types and has actual models that look like the clothes that they're going to be in. And it really hurts to see someone who lives that life and does all this advocacy for, acceptance and to treat her own people that have the same body type the way she did. It's heartbreaking. It's like, do better,
I tea about fucking most of the EDM industry about how Bass Nectar keeps on trying to come back after all the sexual allegations. Like, if you guys know Bass Nectar from like the Sucker Punch video edit with one of his songs, which a lot of his old songs were good, I'm not gonna lie. But now I literally do not support anyone who has done anything with sexual assault. So Sean Diddy Combs.
Oh goodness. Did you see the stuff about his son?
Oh wow. Okay, I didn't see this, but yeah, seems like the whole family is in the music business.
Well, allegedly, one of the women that is a victim of P-Diddy said that he had his sons also get involved in her assault. So it's not really surprising to hear, but at the same time, it's still like, wow, that's sad. And like,
no way.
If I recall, they didn't do that by choice. So like what they did to that girl, it was his dad who instructed it.
So they were forced, okay.
That's what I'm understanding. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm understanding about it. Now, if that's the case, and he went on to do this of his own recognizance, like his own choice to another person, it further perpetuates the abuse becoming the abuser, which again circles back to Drake Bell, which is really interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Because you have that divide. You can choose to have this experience and like, okay, this happened. I'm going to move on and like be a good person, whatever.
I feel like emotional harm is a lot less of I do emotional harm to myself. So I don't understand how these people with these millions of dollars can do this.
They could have anybody they want. And then people that are willing, it brings me to think about the Danny Masterson case,
Yeah.
I mean, this is a lot of people's favorite character in the show. It got translated in, his fandom. He chose to pick people who didn't want it. And he had his pick of the litter, so to speak. A lot of these famous people do.
Yeah. And like it put a bad taste in my mouth when Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis put in words to keep him from getting a long sentence for Danny Masterson. Like,
I mean, it's the same thing with Drake Bell. There's like 40 people. That's crazy. And then people are also saying that if you circle back and you backtrack on like P. Diddy's friendships, one of them that he was really close friends with was Ashton Kutcher.
And I thought Ashton Kutcher was nice. I prefer Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell. I preferred their relationship over Ashton and Mila's now, to be honest, because of all
my
that.
Favorite relationship is Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively.
Yeah.
Sick of Ryan Reynolds because he's like everywhere, but they're just so cute. Well, you know, you really want to get burned. The Beyonce fans. Like that country.
I ain't even listened to it. I've been listening to whatever new dubstep came out, like Knights of the Round Table Volume 6 on Disciple Records. I listened to that. The only song I really liked off that one was Limp Bizkit's Tube. And that was the meme song of the whole compilation. Same with Virtual Riot Simulation DLC remix album that was released on the same label. Only song I liked was Limp Bizkit's remix. It's a goofy producer who's got these big label releases, who's actually making pretty good fucking music. Honestly, I'm going to say that. Pretty good music. Adam and Eve sponsor us. We'll pedal your dildos and stuff. I'll buy a big Moby Huge and do a whole ad for it.
You know what we should do? We should sponsorship for when we do a live one and just like battle it out like lightsaber style.
Yes. Yes. I think there are lightsaber dildos. That would be fucking funny.
Sure. Oh, we're finally meeting. Cool. Well, now we're finna zoo. I do have a couple of interviews that I'm working on finishing up and getting the schedules worked out. I'll tell you more about that in the DMs.
Send them the interview form.
I'm just really excited to continue this and do some of those deep dive videos or podcast episodes maybe. We're really like get into things. So yeah, this is a lot of fun. I'm excited to see where it goes.
We will be more active on our Instagram. We have one Under the Big Top podcast, Under the Big Top everywhere. If you see my face, that's us. You can even message me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can message me through my Facebook page, Grok Dubs, or my personal. I'll get back to you. Email me like earlier, as I said in the podcast, gave you all the email underthebigtop@gmail.com. Get back to you, set up a schedule. We record on, have the ability to get back to people. We are available to message at any time if you have anything. Also send us voice messages and we'll listen to them live on the podcast. If you're a content creator or anything or somewhere in the industry, get at us. Okay, I think I'm done peddling now. We'll be more shit posty next one. We were just on the serious stuff, but yes, we will be having Alexander, as his Facebook name goes, the owner of Pyre Records, on episode 2 to speak more on the music industry shit, drama and all that. It's going to be interesting. There's Saunders Shiloff of Pyre Records, which right now he's in another country. He's about to release a vlog going through France, Japan, I think. He's in France right now, but he's like right in Paris and everything. He's there right now. I think he was in Bangkok he lives in Bangkok.
Yeah, we got to make sure we get our time zones right, so we're not interviewing the poor guy at the crack of dawn.
Oh, he'll probably be on when we need him to be on. He works in that way. He can work around us, and we can work around him. It's fine. I've worked around this stuff, but yeah, we're good on that. But see you next episode. Welcome to Under the Big Top.
Catch you guys on the flip side.
Yeah. My cats are about to attack each other. Sorry.
You're good.